Today, we're going to be discussing the Cubs' last two games versus the Milwaukee Brewers, which resulted in losses. But with the Brew Crew being number one in the NL Central, the Cubs put up a really great fight, and really they're showing that they're nothing to be messed with. Game one showed us the potential of Jameson Taillon, who the Houston Astros seem to have a very high interest in at the trade deadline. And game two showed us that Ian Happ and Suzuki want to win since they're the only two players really out there putting up RBIs. There seems to be a cloud of negativity in Chicagoland because of these last two games. We really needed them. But I'm here to tell you that there's 55 games left in this season, and a lot can happen from now until then. Everyone, thanks for tuning into another edition of Just Another Year Chicago Cubs. My name is Justin Winteroff, and let's get right to the possibilities of trades. Let's get into the rest of the season with the Chicago Cubs, and let's just talk about what can happen next. There is a lot to be said about this series and the importance of it for the Chicago Cubs. But let's just try to take some positives. We're going to move on and look forward to a playoff push. Game one was a win that resulted in the offense coming in clutch and our bullpen laying down the bats of Milwaukee. Game two was a very hard fought battle, which showed that Cullen Rhea is a tough pitcher to face. 8 strikeouts on the day for him. But on the flip side, Jameson Taillon did an excellent job with his longevity. He went a whole 7.1 innings, and ultimately an RBI single lost us that game. More offense was needed. The Cubs they made a dent. Horner and Swanson each got multiple hits that game, but it just wasn't enough. Game three was a clear Justin Seal revenge game, and we fell short off an RBI double in the ninth to lose that game off Hector Neris. This happens, and this has been happening quite a bit this season, sadly. But what you really need to do is you just need to move on and you need to focus on the next team, which is Kansas City. There are 55 games left. This is no time to give up on the Chicago Cubs. I know we're in last place in the NL Central, but it's not by much. And Christian Yelich is out for the season. Obviously, wish him a speedy recovery, but this could be the opening for the Chicago Cubs to move on up and hopefully get to first place. It's no secret that the Cubs have the potential to be the best offensive team in the whole entire MLB. But the real dilemma is that there needs to be more consistency. There are days and games where you're not going to be electric. And the real question is there someone out there that the Cubs can grab at the trade deadline who can give us that jump start in every game and give us that chance to win in every single game? All I ask of the viewers, you guys, is to comment down below who you think the Cubs should trade for at the trade deadline to give us more of an offensive, boost and who can give us that opportunity to win more games, which is going to lead us into our next topic, which is the trade deadline, which is happening in less than 4 days. As always, getting a huge shout out to our sponsor, Freshie, the world's first organic tequila seltzer. I highly recommend you go to your local vendor, grab as much as you possibly can because this is the drink of the summer. And please grab that blood orange habanero. That is my absolute favorite. Thank you so much, Freshie. So, there are a ton of trade rumors out there as to what the Cubs will or can do at the deadline. Number one is seemingly going to be the trade of Jameson Taillon to the Houston Astros, who are currently sitting at first place in the AL West. The Astros are looking at a long-term starting rotation pitcher, and there's no real idea as to what the Cubs are going to get in return. If I was Jed, I'd ask for someone like Taylor Scott, the South African native, and he's a very, very viable relief pitcher with a current 1.32 ERA and also 44 strikeouts to add to that. And maybe just a young single double A guy they got that I trust is probably going to be the next Jose Altuve. The next possibility could be getting Vlad Guerrero Jr. on a completely different note and maybe giving Toronto Hector Neris, Cody Bellinger, and Christopher Morel. I mean, you got PCA who can play center, and Morel's value is as high as it's ever going to probably be. The list can go on and on as to what the Cubs can or can't do at this trade deadline. All I'm really hoping for is some change in this lineup because what we have going right now, unfortunately, is not it. But if it does stay the same, I'm very confident that we can get some wins and find what the strengths in this lineup are going to be down the line. The player of the week has to go to Ian Happ. He has really been the only one that has shined offensively, but also defensively. Had a phenomenal play in that game three where he dove, saved a couple runs from coming in, and he's on a 3 game hitting streak as of right now. He's got 2 RBIs in the last 3 games, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but he just puts every single passionate fiber that he has inside of him into every single baseball game that he plays for the Chicago Cubs. I know this man just got paid this offseason, but whatever he's been doing this year, he deserves a lot more than what he's getting. This guy is just a traditional Chicago Cub through and through. He bleeds that blue, white, and red, and I'm so happy that he is on our team. And I really hope he continues to be on our team and show the whole MLB why he should have been an all-star this year. With that trade deadline approaching us, there are so many, variables and changes that could happen to this Chicago Cubs team within the next couple of days. And with that being said, I really, really hope that these are positive changes that are going to benefit us down the line and really make us a competitive team once again. We are not too far back in the NL Central. We are in last place, yes, but there are so many things that could happen from now until October with 55 games remaining that can really project the Cubs upwards and make us a very, very competitive, reliable team. Now, I would love nothing more than some offense to be added to this team at the trade deadline and maybe getting rid of a couple pieces that we have, such as Christopher Morel, maybe even Cody Bellinger. I just want to get the most for what we have at the moment and really put players that we need in spots that are going to be needed down the line. I'm a huge fan of this team. I really, truly still believe to this day that we are going to go far and possibly make a playoff push down the line. But we will see what happens with the trade deadline coming up, and hopefully the Cubs make the right moves. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning into another edition of Chicago Cubs Just Another Year. My name is Justin Winteroth. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you once that trade deadline is done. Thank you. Have a great night.